They said he'd never become anything, not because they hated him, but because they couldn't see him. Because when you're quiet, when you're broken, when you're unsure of your own worth, people don't look close enough. They only see a shadow of a man, and a shadow can be stepped over. But here's the thing, you are not what they think. You are what you choose. And there comes a moment after you've been overlooked, underestimated, and used, when your chest fills with a different kind of breath. The kind that comes right before a man reclaims his soul. Not loudly, not publicly, but in silence. Alone, no music plays when you finally say, enough. There's no applause when you stare into the mirror and whisper, this is not who I am anymore. But that's where your real story begins. He was the kind of man who gave more than he got. The kind of man who thought that if he just kept being good, kept loving hard, kept sacrificing, someone would finally see his worth. But all he got in return was silence, delayed texts, one-sided friendships, disrespect behind smiles, and it tore him down, piece by piece, until one night, he sat in his room, no lights on, no sounds, just that brutal question echoing in his skull, why am I never enough? He thought he was losing his mind, but he wasn't. He was losing his illusions, losing the version of himself that others created. And for the first time, he realized he could choose, not his past, not what they did to him, but what comes next. And in that moment, everything changed. Because when a man decides to choose who he becomes, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop him. He started small, not with loud goals, not with promises, but with a decision to show up, to rebuild, to stop explaining himself, to stop chasing people, to stop waiting for someone to tell him, you matter. Because now he knew, he mattered the moment he decided to. Every day he woke up and didn't ask, what do they think of me? He asked, what do I think of myself? And that question changed everything. He started making his bed, going to the gym even when he didn't want to, reading, writing, thinking, choosing silence over noise, choosing truth over comfort. And slowly, the old version of him, the overthinker, the people pleaser, the man who waited, he died. He buried him quietly. No one knew, but he knew. Because now, his eyes looked different in the mirror. There was fire behind them, not rage, but clarity. He finally understood. He wasn't made to be a pawn. He wasn't made to follow. He was built to lead himself first, to build a life so powerful, so real, so grounded, that no betrayal could shake him again, that no lie could bend him again, that no temporary person could make him forget his permanent worth. He had bled for people who wouldn't even wipe his tears. He had prayed for people who only played him. He had shown loyalty to people who had secret agendas. But now, his loyalty belonged to the man in the mirror, because he earned it. The nights he cried alone but didn't quit, earned it. The mornings he got up when nothing made sense, earned it. The way he took his brokenness and built discipline out of it, earned it. And that's what people don't understand. You can't always control what breaks you, but you can always control what you build from it. He didn't get revenge. He got power. He didn't chase closure. He closed the doors himself. He didn't seek validation. He became the man who validates his own existence. And the world started to notice. But it was too late. Because by the time they saw his glow, he no longer needed their light. That's what happens when you choose who you become. You stop waiting. You stop begging. You stop proving, You stop being used as a stepping stone in someone else's life. Because now you're building mountains. He wasn't perfect. He still had scars. But now, those scars weren't signs of weakness. They were proof of survival, proof of strength, proof that he'd been to hell and built a house there and left it. By choice, people ask, "How did you become like this?" And he smiles, not because it was easy, but because he remembers. He remembers the sleepless nights, the panic attacks, the days he couldn't eat, the voice in his head that told him, "You're nothing," and how he fought it, alone, without applause, without recognition, because the most powerful transformation happens in the dark. And when he emerged, he didn't need to announce it. The silence said enough, because the man who chooses who he becomes doesn't shout. He moves differently. He walks with purpose. He speaks with precision, and his energy is felt before he even enters the room. Now, people who once overlooked him, study him. People who once used him, can't reach him. People who once doubted him, whisper his name. But he's not looking back, because he's no longer driven by approval. He's driven by truth. And the truth is this: you are not your past, you are not your mistakes. You are not who they said you were. You are what you choose to become. So choose wisely. Choose strength over sympathy. Choose purpose over popularity. Choose silence over fake love. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose becoming over begging. Because no one's coming to save you, and that's okay. Because you were always the one you were waiting for.